Hello everybody! Welcome to another friendship bracelet making video. This one is building off the skills you learned in the stripe and in the V, as well as adding some new skills. I like to call this the arrow, or the half diamond. So you can see that I have 4 colors here, so go ahead and pick out 4 colors of embroidery floss. Measure out your arm's length, half, tie it in a knot, and tape it to the table. So here we are. I'm going to use this as an example. My actual colors have dark blue instead of black, just something to know when I'm talking. So first we're going to start by picking out the order you want them to go. So here I have, my order was black, blue, maroon, pink. Okay, so that's what'll get me the first half. And then it was blue, black, lavender, maroon. That'll give me the second half. So first half, second half down here. So what that looks like, so the first thing you gotta pick is which ones are doing the big outside of the arrow. So for here, that's black and maroon. So in my strings, I separate out, let's say that my black, my string is actually dark blue, but I ran out of black, so here we are. I separate out, that's going first. After black, I have light blue. And after light blue, I've got maroon. And after maroon, I've got lilac. So this, of course, is whatever colors you want in the order you decide. Just make sure you're specific about which ones are going to go where. That way it turns out in the pattern like you have in your head. So now, for my last 4 strings, that'll be the other half. So the first half is this triangle right here, and the second half is this triangle. This triangle right here. So you see this triangle goes maroon, lilac, black, light blue. So that's what I'm going to do. That's the order I'll set them in, going from the outside. So my maroon is my rightmost string, and then my lilac, and then my black, and then my light blue. So we set it out like this. So each of these is going to form a half triangle or an arrow. We go out from this side and out from this side towards the middle. Alright, now that we've done that, let's take our leftmost string and go across, all the way across like a stripe, doing 2 knots on each string that are a forward figure 4 stitch. The first stitch of the first row or 3 of any friendship bracelet end up looking a little wonky. Don't worry about it. It'll sort itself out. I'll hold up my example in a second and you can see that even in my example there are some wonky ones. And remember that if you make a mistake, you can always take out a stitch by very carefully nudging it down. Okay, I've gone all the way across in my first color. Here's where it gets tricky, because now we're going to start counting how many strings we're going across. So this next color is not going to go all the way across all of the strings, because that would just be doing a stripe. This color is going to go across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strings. So you're going to stop right here where there's 2 strings left. The string that you just knotted on with your last string, and then your last string itself. So that looks like my next color. I'm doing 2 knots. Oop. 2 knots. 2 knots. 2 knots. 2 knots. And stop. So now we take our next color. And now we're not going across 7 strings, we're not going across 5 strings, we're going across 3 strings. So we end up with 2 left over, the one we just went across with, and the one it knotted on last. So that looks like 2 knots. 2 knots. 2 knots. And stop. So now we have our last, the color we haven't used yet. This one is going to make just a little dot like we see here. So we take 1 figure 4 stitch and then 1 backwards figure 4 stitch. This way my lilac stays my leftmost string. So now we're going to start going backwards across our strings so that we end up with a nice pattern like this that has pointy triangles going across it. So we've already gone across, we've gone forward and backward with my last color, that's my light purple. So now I'm taking my second to last color, that's my maroon, and I'm taking this string, this is what it just did knots on, and we're going to do 2 more knots, but with backwards figure 4 stitches. Backwards figure 4, backwards figure 4. And then across on the next one, backwards figure 4, backwards figure 4, all the way across so that now it's the leftmost string. So here's where you can see the pattern start to form. You can see that I've done a little, I've got a little maroon triangle, and I've set myself up for a light blue and a dark blue one. So now next we're going to go back across with this light blue, the backwards figure 4 knot on the one it's already knotted on, get 2 of those. Then go all the way back across all 5 strings that this one knotted on. String there. And then finally, we take the first color we went across with, that's my dark blue here, and in my example it's black. Then you go all the way back across using reverse figure 4 stitches. Hopefully you've got a lot of practice with the reverse figure 4 stitch by now. And that's not the hard part of this. But if it is, don't worry, be patient with yourself. This one is a really tricky one. Alright. I've gone all the way back across, all the way, using reverse figure 4 stitches. And now I've got one direction of my V, a little arrow. Right? So now, if you look at my example, there's 2 of these arrow heads that are pointing back and forth. So now it's time to start the second one. We take the rightmost string, that's my maroon, and you go all the way across using reverse figure 4 stitches. So now you take the next string on the right, that's my light purple, and you go across 5 strings, doing reverse figure 4 knots. And you stop. Now you take your next right string and you go across 3. That's my dark blue. Still doing reverse figure 4 stitches. And then you stop. Then you take your last color, the one you haven't used yet going this direction, and you do 1 reverse figure 4 and 1 forward figure 4. And then you take your second to last color, that's my dark blue, and you go back across using forward figure 4 stitches. Now you take your second color. That's my purple on this side, my light purple. I don't know if you can actually see that it's light purple, guys, but it is, I promise. Nope, not that string, this one. And you go back across using forward figure 4 stitches. And then finally, you take your first color on this side, the one you went all the way across with, that's my maroon, and you come all the way back all of the strings. So here I've gone across, and you can definitely now see the start of the pattern. See it? So now you're going to go back across with your leftmost string. You're going to start one of the arrows that's going this way. So we just finished one that's going this way. Now we're going to do another one going this way, like our first one. So my first color for my first side, that's my dark blue, I'll go all the way across with that. I'm going to finish this, this last arrow as an example, and then you can do it on your own, or rewind the video if you're confused. It's the lovely thing about videos. You can always rewind, pause, make it go at half at the speed, or if you feel like you're really fancy and you got it all the way down, you can make it go at twice the speed. Up to you. Power of technology. So I've gone all the way across in my dark blue, almost, and then I'm going to take my second string on the left side, so my second color, the first string now on the left side. It used to be the second string. So that's my light blue. And I go across 5 strings. 1, so it goes 7, 5, 2, 7, 5, 3, 1 string. There's always 2 strings left over for this. And that's how you end up with a point on your arrow instead of a stripe. And then you stop. And then you take your leftmost string again. This is my third color. And you go across 3 strings. And then you stop. And then you take your last color and you do 1 forward, 1 backward, and then you stop. And you go back to your maroon string, your equivalent of my maroon string, and go reverse, reverse, across all 3 strings. And then you take your equivalent of my light blue string and go back across all 5 strings, doing a reverse figure 4 stitches. And finally, you take your first color, the one all the way over here, and you go back across all of the strings, all 7 of them. And here we are. You'll then go across with your rightmost string and do another one of these arrows. So here's my start. You can see how I've followed the pattern. It'll end up looking just like this, pretty much. Some of the colors are a little off. And it'll go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Happy friendship bracelet making. This one is a little trickier, so be patient. Even I messed up quite a few times. You can see some of mine look a little wonky. Like this one up here is a little wonky. This one up here got a little messed up right here. Be patient with yourself. Friendship bracelets are not about being perfect. I'll see you guys